this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here for another one of our Saturday stash busters, and what I've got here is again some more of that 12 by 12 paper. We did use some you know, in another episode, but yeah, I've got some more here. So this time I've got some which I'm not saying I don't like either side, but I would struggle to use either side. I mean, this side actually, it's got these kind of butterflies, so you know, it's kind of inoffensive, but it doesn't look to me particularly vintage. Admittedly, it perhaps would look more so if I coffee dyed it. And the other side is this kind of weird stripy kind of effect. So, you know, it's just not really kind of working for me. So what I thought we could do for this, or, you know, to use up kind of this and, you know, use up, say, you know, a few maybe of these, although I'm not sure that I will get that much time. I'm just kind of mopping up some of the mess from my desk from my last project. Is make some little frames. So I have got here a 3-inch square punch. If you don't have a square punch, I saw a fantastic video over at Ruby and Pearl where she just got a square and a craft knife and she drew round a square. You could obviously use a die cut, you know, like Big Shot or something if you've got one of those, or, you know, anything really. But I'm going to use my punch just because that's, you know, that's what I happen to have. And I'm just going to punch some frames from this. Now I'm going to go along the edge, the edge of my paper, and then I'm going to cut my frames out. I've probably been very extravagant here with the paper, but you know, I'm not too worried, to be perfectly honest. So just like that. And then I'm going to do a bit like, you know, she did on Ruby and Pearl, where she didn't kind of measure or have any kind of fixed sizing or anything like that for the size of the frame. In fact, she tore her frames. I think she used book page. I think I'm right in saying she used book page. It's a little bit of time since I saw her video, but she used book page to do her frames. Now I'm obviously using this, and this is just basically making our base. Now obviously I could keep these you know, for something, but I'm going to be really good and I'm actually going to throw them away just because, you know, I've got stuff all over, and to be honest, you know, I need to start getting rid of some things. So what I would do here is just literally either collage around this now, or take this, tear it down and then collage around it. So I'm just going to kind of like tear my frame out, and I'm tearing it because she tore hers. You know, and I just really liked the look of her little torn frames. I thought they just looked really pretty. Now the only disadvantage of using my 3-inch punch is, you can probably see I've got quite a narrow edge here, which, you know, it's okay, but yeah, probably kind of through choice I would have a thicker edge. But basically all I'm doing is trying to get my base that then I'm going to cover with some other papers. So again, I'm kind of going to use Ruby and Pearl's example of using book page, I think, so that I've got a sort of nice vintage look. So I've got some vintage book page and I've got some vintage sheet music. So I can just take some of my book page and my sheet music. Now hopefully I'm going to end up with kind of some different pieces. Now this one is that algebra book, which I've used loads lately. I'm not sure whether this is going to cover up that paper sufficiently. Oh, yeah, I think it is actually. I was a bit worried that it was not really going to cover up. Now I'm going to cut this down because I want to have the texty parts, you know, really showing, if you see what I mean. So I want to have the texty parts showing. Actually, I've now realised I've done this wrong probably by tearing that down. I should have just stuck it on. Anyway, basically what I was wanting to do was get to a point where I could use a couple of different pieces. So if I just kind of do that, okay, and then like that. So I'm just going to take my glue now, oops, and just cover up my frame. Okay, so, oh, come on, my glue has had the you know, paper clip in it, so it should definitely not be complaining. Oh, it's just always the way, isn't it? You come to do the video and of course then your pieces don't want to cooperate, or your, you know, your glue doesn't want to cooperate. Right, so there we go. Now, Ruby and Pearl, she made hers, you know, really nice and scrappy, like I say. So I'm going to try and follow her lead and make my pieces quite scrappy as well. I thought hers looked really lovely. So yeah, I want to kind of have that same sort of effect if I possibly can. So just putting those down like that. And then I'm just going to take some other book page. So I've got some dictionary book page here, just so that I've got a couple of different sort of looks. So again, going to take that down here, just so that the part I'm using is, you know, nice and texty, if you see what I mean. So just going to pop some glue here, and then what I might do is even tear this down, you know, so it's kind of staggered like that. Okay, so just like that, and then on the other side, so I'll just put a little dab of glue there, whoops, to hold that down. And then on the other side, just see what else I've got. I've got some other, oh, that's such a shame. Look at what's happened to that lovely picture. That was such a cute picture, wasn't it? Oh, that's such a shame. Let me put that to one side. I might be able to put some sellotape through that and just salvage it somehow. So again, I've got some more book page here, different, you know, different book page again. So I'm just going to take this down. I mean, I don't even know whether this is really going to show up, to be honest, you know, that it's different. It might not really kind of even notice, but you know, if it does, or if it could, then that just seems like it's going to be quite nice. So just going to tear that down there. Okay, so we just put it across there. Oops, I did overdo the glue. Thought that might happen. Right, so like that. Okay, so that's my frame, obviously looking pretty rubbish at the moment. Let me just have a sip of my tea. Okie dokie. Now, if I hold this up to the light, you can probably see that, I think, through the camera. I can get quite a good idea of kind of where to tear that. And, you know, I don't mind. It doesn't have to be perfect around the, you know, the base or anything. It's just, you know, giving me a bit of a guide as to where to put it. So, you know, what I've got now is a nice solid base for my frame. Now, Ruby and Pearl, she just used the book page, and I think she doubled her book page up. Although I could be making that up, actually. Yeah, I could be completely making that up. But anyway, they looked absolutely lovely, hers. So that's my effort. And then I'm just going to bring in, so I've got here, this is just some of my botanicals collection book page. I thought it had some nice, you know, nice size images there that we could just put in, you know, to make the frame, if you to make the, you know, to put in the frame, make the frame. Sorry, I'm losing my ability to speak again. To put into the frame like that. So all I'm going to do is, I think, ink this up first. And again, I have to say, I'm not sure that she did any inking. I don't feel like I saw her ink, but you know what it's like. I was watching whilst I was at the gym, and then, you know, you don't always kind of see everything to its best, but, you know, because obviously there's distractions and other things going on there. But yeah, I can't quite remember. Anyway, I'm going to ink mine. So just going around the edge like that. And then, of course, I just want to ink the inside of the frame as well. Oh, I'm so sorry, my alarm is still bleeping. I have not fathomed out how to change the battery yet. So, like that. So, and you could put that on with a, you know, the foam pads. So you've got a raised frame if you wanted. I'm just going to sip my tea. Well, I just guzzled that down. Or you could obviously just stick it down flat. So if I stuck that down flat, so what I'll do is I'm just going to take that and cut it down so it's roughly going to fit into my frame. So like that. Hope I've judged that right. Okay, like that. And I'm just going to then go around my frame with a bit of glue. And then of course I could take my whole piece to the sewing machine and just do a little bit of stitching around there as well, which looks really, you know, really pretty, or I think would look really pretty. I haven't done that yet, but yeah, I think would look really nice. So that's frame number 1. So let's do another one. Obviously I have them all marked out now. So again, just tear that down. Like that. I mean, they're really nice and, you know, tactile pieces. I love it when you kind of make these little pieces like this. They're just, you know, really nice. Now, like I said, I used a 3-inch punch. Obviously, you don't have to use a 3-inch punch. You may want to use something smaller. You know, anything would be fine. The 3-inch punch was what I have got. I might have a 2-inch punch square somewhere, but yeah, I can't really remember, to be honest. I haven't used my square punch for a little while, but anyway, so I thought that I would just use that. Now I'm just going to bring in some sheet music, just so as I've got like a different look for one, so as they're not all looking the same. So I'll just take this down here. Oops, very tatty. Okay, like that. Okay, so actually I'm just going to cut some bit page down. Maybe I could use this. So I mean, it's quite a nice way to use not only your, you know, your scrapbook paper, but actually it's quite a nice way to use your book pages as well. You know, it's quite a good little scrap buster, I think. And like I said, you know, I have used the frames because I just wanted them to be a bit stiffer. Obviously, if that's not really bothering you, then, you know, the book pages would be fine. But I thought this would be quite a good use of, you know, of some of our scrapbook papers that maybe we've been not even hoarding, more the ones that, you know, we've failed to use. You know, in my case, it's the ones that I failed to use, really. So yeah, I just thought it would be quite a good way to use them now. And I just loved her, you know, her project when I saw her do it. So I thought, oh, this is perfect for this. Absolutely perfect. So like that. And then for this, I'll just put, I think, another little bit of the sheet music down on that side as well. And actually, these are another quite a good sort of TV type project. You could just do these like sat in front of the TV. Just take a bunch of book pages down, take your punch, could even punch your frames first, I suppose. And then, you know, just sit in front of the TV making your frames. And then obviously you could come up the next day and fill your frames with, you know, images. I mean, the other images that I think would look really lovely in these is my Victorian Beauty images. I think would look really great in these. Yeah, I think they'd go nice in these. I haven't tried them, so I can't guarantee what they would look like, but yeah, I think they would look good. So just tear that one down a bit, just a little bit more. So isn't that just so lovely? Absolutely gorgeous, aren't they? I am being really extravagant with my paper, to be honest, by throwing it away, but you know, I just think, oh, at this point I really don't need to be hoarding little tiny bits of book page, to be honest. It's not something I need to be doing. So like that. Okay, oh my goodness, doesn't that just look so gorgeous? I love it. Now, the other paper that I brought along, which I did wonder about, is my farmhouse collection papers. And I just wondered whether you could have some of those. Now, it might be that some of these would be too small for the frames, but yeah, definitely some of these would fit perfectly well, wouldn't they? I really like how that looks actually. So yeah, I think I'm going to use that. So let me just cut this one out. Now these I've just printed onto copy paper. Now when I say copy paper, this is thicker than normal bulk standard copy paper. It's kind of like, I think it's 100 and, or I was going to say 102, but I might be wrong. It might be a bit thicker than that actually. Anyway, it's quite close. You know, it's not a thick paper by any stretch of the imagination, but it is thicker than copy paper. And yeah, it's also a sort of better quality than regular copy paper, if you see what I mean. So it's got a, not a photo quality, but definitely like a smooth kind of quality to it. And so the colours are, you know, drastically different, I would say, to when you're using just copy paper, which, you know, I actually think can look quite rubbish, to be honest, sometimes. Well, I say that, to be fair, I've never actually had a problem, but I bought a batch of copy paper recently, and it was rubbish. It looked really, really, really rubbish. It was just the cheap copy paper from the range, and yeah, I don't know whether it was like something wrong with the paper or what, because like I say, I've never actually had a problem before, and I've always kind of, you know, maintained that actually I think, you know, any paper is kind of fine, but that particular batch of paper, or ream of paper, oh, the prints were so dull and so horrible, and it was so annoying because I was trying to make some, you know, some printables, and I of course kept printing them on that printer paper, and I thought, well, this is really weird, they just look really rubbish. Why are they not looking very pretty colours at all? And you know what, it was all the paper, which, yeah, I've never really kind of experienced that before. So, you know, whilst I'm the first to say it doesn't make, you know, it doesn't matter what you use, actually sometimes it does seem to matter, unfortunately, you know. And like I say, I've never necessarily had that kind of before, but definitely I did, you know, I did notice it was particularly rubbish quality. So yeah, I don't know whether that was just a bad batch or I don't know, but it was very disappointing anyway. So yeah. Oh, I love that chicken one. It looks really good, doesn't it? I say chicken, I've just noticed, because they've actually got their names on. So that one is in fact a cock. Who knew? I mean, I wouldn't know the difference between a cock and a hen if they came and hit me in the face, if I'm truthful, but that's just me. I'm probably in the minority there, I don't know. Anyway, it looks really, really nice. So I'll just do a few more of these. They're just quite fun to do. You know, and I just love to do anything that's, you know, sort of like a small project that you can achieve lots of. And these are definitely, you know, they're one of those that you could do a few different ones. You know, you could kind of like bulk make quite a big bunch of them, you know, pretty quickly, which I just love, to be honest. So I think I'm putting this sheet music on sort of, you know, not necessarily back to front, but, you know, upside down. Sadly, I cannot read music, so I've not got a clue what way up it's supposed to go. So yeah, looks pretty rubbish, I think, but never mind. Right, and then this one here. Okay. Like that. Okie dokie. Right. So again, press this down, squish it all, whoops, squish it all down into place. Okay. And so what I might do is just quickly put that to one side, and then just, you know, we could actually kind of like mass make these where we just tear out a bunch and then cover them all and then tear them down again. So I'll just do a couple more like that. And obviously I've got that centerpiece, which we could do another one. like I said, I mean, I have not been frugal at all with this paper. I could have probably got way more out of this, but you know, I wasn't trying to kind of like extend the paper really. I was just trying to, you know, think of ways to actually use it up. You know, so yeah, I don't think I really needed to, you know, prolong its the amount of it. Prolong it, the amount of it? No. Anyway, preserve the amount of it, you know. I was just trying to really just use some. So like that. And then, oh, I'm so sorry if you can hear my printer whirring away. Obviously I'm printing whilst I'm filming. So yeah. Okay. I mean, to be honest, I don't even know really whether you need to be tearing the frames down, because to be honest, you know, we're just using these as a bit of a rough guide as to, you know, how big our sort of book page needs to be. So, you know, this might be an unnecessary step. You know, maybe I could have just cut it down and then torn around when I put the book pages on. I'm not sure. But for me, it's quite nice because then, you know, you've got sort of a, yeah, definite sort of guideline, where if I didn't tear them down, then maybe I would have, you know, not much of a guideline, if you see what I mean. So there we go. Okay. There we go. Right, looking good. So let's just quickly pop these bits in the bin. Okey-doke. So I'll just try and sort of, you know, bit mass makey style cut this down. Because obviously you want like a, not a sharp edge, but you know, a cut edge so that that goes next to the frame, the inside of the frame, and then you want to tear the outside of the frame. And to be honest, you know, I mean, you could have these cut down. So perhaps we'll make one and we'll actually cut it neatly, just to, you know, just to gauge what we think to the neat edge. I mean, I'm not the neatest person anyway, so I might not be the best judge of, you know, what looks good and what doesn't with regards to torn edges. But yeah, I mean, I like a, you know, like a scrappy edge, so I don't know whether I would necessarily like a neat edge or not, but we can certainly have a look and try a couple. So just get my variety of book page here cut down. Quite liked having the dictionary page. I think that was quite a nice addition because it's kind of different text, isn't it? Which just keeps them a bit more interesting, I suppose. So yeah, I'm just kind of like cutting it now so that I've got enough room to do like a nice decorative torn edge on. That makes sense. So like that. Okie dokie. Right. Just got one or two more bits. That's it. Like that and like that. Ah, like that. And then like that. So hopefully we've got quite a few now. Right, and again, it doesn't matter, you know, some of these are kind of torn and falling apart, but that's okay because actually I only need very small bits, if you see what I mean. You know, they're actually not wide at all. So, you know, these are going to be more than big enough, sort of size-wise. Even the pieces that are torn, like for example this one, is still more than, you know, more than adequate, to be honest. So yeah, right, let's get gluing and sticking some. So okay, pop that one down there. Whoops. Okie dokie. Just put a little bit of sheet music. Yeah, so I hope everyone's having a good day. Maybe you're doing some crafting did you see the lovely video from Ruby and Pearl? I think it was part of her junk journal tips and tricks collaboration, you know, that Rach and Bella Crafts put together this year. I think it was part of that. So yeah, I wonder if you saw it. She made such beautiful little, you know, little frames. Oh gosh, now look what I've done. I've used the one with blue blobs. I might have to remove that because, yeah, I won't feel happy with that, to be honest. Right, let's try and bear in mind it's got some blue on it. I don't know if this one has actually, but that one definitely did. Yeah, I think it was part of her, you know, junk journal tips and tricks, you know, in that collaboration. I think it was that video. But yeah, beautiful, gorgeous bits and pieces that she made. So, I mean, she's just got the most incredible style, hasn't she? And I always forget her name. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I've totally forgotten what her name is. So yeah, I mean, if she does catch this video at all, I'm really sorry. I'm just the most appalling person when it comes to names, honestly. I mean, I don't remember anybody's name, to be honest. So it's a miracle I can even remember my own children's names, or even my own name, actually. That's quite surprising. Yeah, I'm absolutely rubbish. And I keep trying to kind of like, you know, do those little tricks that I've watched things before where they've kind of come up with little tips as to, you know, ways to remember people's names. And, you know, it might be something like, you know, you envisage, I mean, I can't think of an example that this would fit with, but let's just say somebody's name was something Oak, you know, something Oak. You know, when they say their name, you would then picture like an oak tree. You know, and that would help you then remember their name. That type of technique. But I mean, obviously, sometimes somebody's name doesn't necessarily have anything that you could, you know, associate it with. But then I think they say things like, you know, picture it like with something it maybe rhymes with, or, you know, something it sounds like, or, you know, I don't know, that type of thing. So yeah, there are like loads of techniques, but I've got to be honest, I'm just absolutely rubbish, and I probably, hate to say it, you know, I probably never ever will master, you know, remembering people's names. It's just, well, just something I don't seem to be able to do. So yeah, I do apologise. But anyway, I've gone off at a complete tangent. What I was trying to say was, you know, doesn't she just do the most gorgeous work? So yep, back to my first initial point was, doesn't she just do the most lovely things? Very, very talented, isn't she? Actually, I have to say, I think she has a bit of a similar style to Lorette Chandler. So yeah, I know that Lorette does sometimes watch my videos. So Lorette, if you're watching, quick hello to you. Yeah, Lorette does very, very, very pretty things. You know, quite girly and yeah, quite girly and, you know, sort of pretty in her style. And I would say, yeah, Ruby and Pearl, she's very, very vintage. But yeah, she's got quite a girly kind of thing going on. So yeah, I would say that she's a little bit similar. But I just love her, yeah, love her style, to be honest. She's, you know, she just does absolutely gorgeous stuff. So I'm sure that, you know, most of you probably do watch her. Anyway, I just loved those frames when I saw her do them. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to have a go at some, you know, because it will just use up, like I say, some of our bits and bobs, and obviously, you know, a nice opportunity to obviously play around doing her lovely frames. So yeah, that's those, and then just do one on the facing side, and then I think I'll just go over this with the book page. Now I have to say, I've used the book page and the sheet music because she did. You know, in her one, she used the vintage kind of book page and the well, actually I don't think she did use sheet music, but she used the vintage book page. So that's why I have used it. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry if you can hear my printer going crazy there. But I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't do these with like paper scraps as well. So, you know, just because I've done them with book page, that's because she had done that and I wanted to kind of like, you know, follow her lead. But I have to say, I think probably some scraps and things would look really good on these as well. So I might even, yeah, I might even pull some scraps in for our very last frame. So just go around that one like that. And yeah, for our last one, let me just reach behind me. So I've just got these little scraps here. Okay. Right, this is a little bit, you know, off at a tangent, I've got to say. So I don't know really whether, you know, whether this is going to look very good now that I've pulled these in, but let's just have a go. So I'm just going to cut that down like that. Because it's always nice to try something different, isn't it? And as I said, I mean, the 12 by 12 paper, the purpose of that is basically so you've got like something for your framed piece to hang from, if that makes sense. So, you know, I just thought it's quite a good sort of little base for your pieces. You know, I'm not saying that you even have to have a little base, you know, but I think it's quite a nice, you know, because it's giving you quite a good sturdy sort of base, which is, you know, is quite nice. Just going to try this edge. I mean, this is just from my Victorian Springtime papers, and these are from my, oh my goodness, what's it called? Prairie, Pink Prairie. Or it might be, yeah, the Pink Prairie papers, I think they are. And I just thought, actually, they go quite nicely together, don't they? So, yeah, maybe even have that one across there. Like that. Okie dokie. Like that. Okay, right. So, you know, like I say, a bit of a good scrap buster there. We've got quite a few, you know, scraps gone, although I've always got more, as you can see. Still got a bunch there. Right, let's pull in our frames. So obviously, you know, they're all looking quite tatty. Now I'm going to try and cut one because we did say about cutting one, didn't we? So let's take, well, let's just take this one and we'll just try and cut this down. Just because, you know, I'm intrigued to see how it would look with a straight edge rather than the torn. I mean, I am a fan of torn edges, as I said. So, you know, I might actually prefer the torn edges anyway. But, I mean, with the straight edges, it's taking on a bit of a appearance of a... oh, what's the word? What are those things called? The specimen slides. It's taking on a bit of an appearance of those. Not that I mind that, but yeah, I think the torn kind of frames, you know, they're quite a nice little different look, aren't they? So yeah, let's just tear them down. And obviously as well, you could now stitch these on the sewing machine. Did I mention that? I can't remember whether I've already said this. I'm so sorry if I'm waffling on and now repeating myself. And again, I don't know whether I've already said this, but I can't remember whether Ruby and Pearl, did she stitch hers? I don't feel like she did, but definitely I think stitching would look pretty. So yeah, I think you could. So I'll just tear this one down with the patterned paper. Okay, I mean, this is quite soggy, I've got to say, because obviously I've only just that second glued this and I've really not given it time to dry at all. But I mean, doesn't that look really lovely? I really, really like it, to be honest, with the patterned paper. I think that looks really, really pretty. So yeah, might have to make a few more of those with the patterned paper rather than the book page and the sheet music, because now I'm thinking, oh, I maybe even prefer that, to be honest. Hard to say because I do like them both, but yeah, I like it equally as much. Right, so put those scraps all in the bin, and then, sorry, I just had to throw something on the floor there. Yes, that was the other thing. So the other thing was, obviously you could put acetate in so it's actually a see-through frame. And then of course what you could do is you could then attach this onto a pocket or something. You know, obviously if I'm following Ruby and Pearl, she didn't do that. She kind of like, you know, put her pictures in them, if you see what I mean. But I think the acetate's quite a nice, you know, quite a nice alternative for these. So I might just do one or two with the acetate. So I'm just going to again cut that down, hopefully so that fits in sort of side my frame. Now I will glue, glue and then stitch around this, because I don't feel like, you know, very confident that this will stay kind of glued down. I mean, it does glue, but I mean it takes a little while to glue, so there's no way it will be glued down kind of during this video. But as a kind of secondary, you know, secondary kind of like precaution, I will stitch it as well. So that's that one. Just move that one out. There we go. That looks good, doesn't it? And like I said, I would use these then probably like on a pocket or something. But yeah, let's go back to these. Just having a look to see whether this one looks good with those chickens, you know, with the patterned paper. I quite like it, actually. I mean, it looks nice with that one, doesn't it? Yeah, I think that looks quite good. So I'm just going to take that down. Oops. Okay, and then just across here. Want that one sort of about that high, I think. So yeah, just need to snip this down a bit. Okay, and oops, did I just cut that off? I must have done. It's weird, isn't it? I didn't notice that I'd cut that one off. Oh well, right. Then we just go around the edge of here. And for this, I might just go around the actual edge of the page as well. Just because it's an irregular shape. So, yeah, hopefully kind of like, oops, grab it everywhere. So, like that. Okay, press that down. How cute does that look? I love how that looks. So sweet, isn't it? So I'll just put that to one side. Okay, let's take my flowers again and maybe this flower for this one. Yeah, maybe this flower, I think. Oops. Okay, so, right, just quickly cut this one down. Need to be a bit careful with this one because it's not got like a lot of leeway, if you see what I mean. Like that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, and then I'm just going to cut it down slightly here. And even slightly here, I think, as well. And then we'll just go round the edge. And we'll just go around the edge of here. Okay, oops. like that. I love that one for some reason. Oh, do you know, I totally forgot to ink that. I knew that there was something I was forgetting to do. Just totally forgot to ink it. But anyway, it looks fine, doesn't it? So, yeah, that one. Now, I also have got a couple of other bigger bits of paper here. Now, what have I got here? Some of this. These are from just my French collection papers, and I just wondered. I mean, these are probably a bit more like the images that Ruby and Pearl used. And the only reason I'm thinking is because... now thinking, have I saved this for something else? Maybe. Oh, just ignore me. I'm thinking maybe I've saved that for something else. Let me just have a look here. Oh. Also got... which again, I'd forgotten about these. See, the stuff that's just buried on my desk is like unbelievable. Okay, right. So these are from my London papers, the London collection. So again, could use some of these. Oh, I love these. Oh, they are perfect for this, aren't they? Yeah, really love these. So, right, it's a bit wasteful because it is double-sided, but just to save me kind of like faffing around, you know, trying to pull out other things. So, yeah, going to just cut this one down. Okay, and then just there. Okay. And on that side. Okay, right, looking good. So for this one, I'm just going to ink this up a little bit. Just because obviously this looks quite bright white. I mean, it's not white, but you know, just bright anyway, compared to that book page, which is obviously a bit more yellowy. And then I will just quickly ink around this while I remember. Ooh. Sorry, flicking it everywhere. And then just on the inside a little bit, like that. Okay. And then just, yeah, place that over. Oh my goodness. How gorgeous does that look? I love how that looks. So just quickly pop that down. Right, I'm going to take them to the sewing machine, just because otherwise I'm a bit concerned we might run out of time. So I'm going to just quickly take them to the sewing machine and then I'll come back. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine. So I'll just show you what I've done. So the first one that I stitched, I did the stitching very close to the frame. And the second one, I thought, actually, I'm just going to go out wider. And actually, I much prefer the wider one. So, yeah, I mean, they're different looks, I think. But I did the rest all wider. So they're not even necessarily holding in the material. This one is because the acetate was quite big. But this, I suspect, yeah, it's kind of like gone off the edges at some points. But, you know, hopefully you can kind of see that. So, yeah, they're really nice, aren't they? And then obviously if you wanted to kind of finish them off with some bits, I've just got some like labels, some labels here. So I think these are just from my Junk Journal Basics kit. I'll just quickly take these down. I think Ruby and Pearl, I think she finished hers off with some you know, like scripty writing, like from like vintage documents. She kind of like finished them off like that. They looked stunning, I have to say. But like that on there, how gorgeous does that look? Just going to bring it up to the camera. I absolutely love how that looks. So again, just going to be like really lazy here. Glue it on with my hot glue. Complete overkill. I didn't need to be using hot glue, but you know, I just wanted it to be stuck very quickly and instantly and not have to worry about it. So how gorgeous is that? I absolutely love how that looks. Yeah, just love that kind of black label against that chicken. Cock even. So yeah, really love how that looks. So we've got this one obviously, which is, you know, a much kind of more colourful flower. We could kind of maybe have like a more colourful label, or actually this one looks like it would be quite nice as well. So let's just cut that one down. Oops. Can't actually see whether this is up the right way or the wrong way. Oh my goodness, my eyesight. I think that's the right way now. Yeah, so I mean, we could have that as like a little, what do you call it? You know, contrasting piece. I've also got some of our little bows that we made in the mass making session, you know, the fork bows. So I thought that would also look rather pretty. Maybe something like that. I don't know if that label's quite right on there now. Ooh. Let's give that a try. Or maybe on the chicken one, to be honest. Something about those chicken ones that I'm obviously really liking, I think. So yeah, I'm liking those best of all. Which is weird, isn't it? Because I thought that I would probably like those least, but I actually really like them. Okay. So like that. That one's still quite soggy, to be honest, but yeah, I do like the look of that. Oh, let me just see whether that might benefit from a bow as well. Oh, that's cute, isn't it? That is very cute, I have to say. Oh yeah, I'm gonna just put that little bow on there. Just trying to see which is the front and which is the back of that bow. Do sometimes just look at things, and what you're convinced that you know, then the next time you look you think, oh, well, is that the right way up? You know, it's just having that experience there. There we go. How cute does that look? So that's that one. Okay, and the next one's, I'm thinking hers maybe were a bit smaller than this. I mean, I love giant pieces, as you know. But I'm wondering whether hers were a little bit smaller than this. Now this acetate one, I'm going to keep this, I think, and we'll come back and do something else with this. So I'll just put that to one side. Yeah, I've got these little brown ones. I could have a little brown one on there. It's quite nice. I've also got a little tiny bit of lace, which I'm kind of thinking, oh, we could even have like a little bit of lace on there. I mean, it's very wide, this lace, so huge really for that, but yeah, maybe kind of like something like that, just to sort of dress it up a little bit. So like that, and then if I just glue the bow, that would just glue the lace down like that. Oh, how gorgeous does that look? I love that. Oh, that's so pretty. And that's literally, that's a scrap of lace and just that bow. How gorgeous does that look? You know, just the smallest things can just finish things off just so, you know, so brilliantly, I think. You know, that you barely need anything sometimes, but you know, just those smallest kind of touches, and they just enhance, like, you know, can enhance so much, can't they? Again, this is just like a tiny little scrap of lace, so I just thought, oh, should we try this on here, because it would be great to get it off of my desk. So sorry if I'm blocking the light now with my glue and things. So yeah, it's probably not really quite right. I've also got some wax seals, which I thought would look rather cute on these. Oh, that's really nice, isn't it? Yeah, I quite like that. Oh, I'm so sorry, that's my door. Oh, sorry about that. That was the postman. Right. So yeah, I've also got these little wax seals, which, you know, could even finish them off with like a little, you know, one of those little ribbons or something. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right colour ribbon. I've just pulled it in because that was kind of what was laying around on my desk. But I mean, actually, I mean, it doesn't look too bad, does it? Yeah, I mean, probably would pay to find a better match. Oh, here we go. See, I just knew that I would have something laying about somewhere on the desk. Oh, it's just a case of locating it. So yeah, that one like that. Now, do we want it on that one or that one? Oh, I don't know now. Looks good on either. Let's just quickly glue this together. Oops. Oh. Oh. Don't know what's going on with my faffing about here. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Don't know what's going on. Since I've gone to the window to call down to the postman, I've gone like completely doolally. Oh, just like spotted some thread hanging off my hot glue gun, so I'm trying to get that. I'm trying not to have it slip off the desk. So yeah, it's all just going completely wrong now. Oh, I shouldn't have got up from my desk in the first place, honestly. Now look, made that minuscule, haven't I? It's got barely any little stem bits hanging out from it. It looks really weird. Oh well, never mind. We're just going to yeah, go for it and pretend it's looking fine. Just going to check whether I've got any other pink that might look better. Okay. You know, I finally did a load of wax seals, and you know, like always, got everything but the colour that you actually kind of would like. So what's that about? Okay, just pop that one on there. Like that. There we go. Yay. So this one, I'm just going to leave this plain for the minute. I probably wouldn't leave it plain when it comes to it. I mean, I'm thinking just even like a butterfly on there would look gorgeous, or like maybe a little couple of pearls or something would look lovely. I mean, maybe even a little number tab or something might look quite cute on here. You know, I mean, to be honest, even maybe like a contrasting one. Yeah. If you wanted to kind of bring some colour in or something, you know, that would look quite nice, wouldn't it? Or I've got like a little beige one that might be a bit more neutral. Yeah, I mean, that looks quite nice, doesn't it? So, yeah, they're just obviously little number tabs. What I was thinking originally, though, was a butterfly. And, of course, I don't have any butterflies here with me at the moment. So yeah, we'll just go with the number tab just to, you know, feel like I have finished it off. But I think you could do lots of other, you know, other more exciting things really, but oops. But nonetheless, sometimes I think simple is actually better, you know, than too much fussy stuff going on. So yeah, there we go. I'll just cut that down like that. Okie dokie. So let's lay them out, the ones that we've done. We have done these 5 that we've actually kind of completed. We've got the acetate one, obviously, that we're going to, you know, come back and do something with. I've got the square one, which I didn't end up using, and I have got another one actually, which I haven't even torn down yet. So yeah, they're quite quick and easy to make, aren't they? And definitely, like I said, they could be like quite a good little TV project, you know, because you could just, you know, cover the frames, and then the next day you could go and kind of like fill the frames, or, you know, vice versa. You could kind of make the frames during the day and then take the frames downstairs with some little images and fill the frames, you know, while you're watching TV kind of on your lap. So yeah, I think they're really quite cute, and just another little way to kind of use up some of your stash. We have used up, yep, not a great victory, but you know, one piece of paper, which of course now I could make another frame just from the leftover. So I'll just do that. Yay, and then it's one whole sheet. Yay, a whole sheet of 12 by 12 has bitten the dust. So yeah, I hope that it's given you some ideas. I mean, like I say, it is kind of a bit of scrap busting with your 12 by 12s, and of course, you know, using some of either your scraps for like this type of look or some of your vintage book page and things. And yeah, just really, really cute. I will try and remember to link Ruby and Pearl's original video with these little frames, because it was very inspirational. But yeah, I hope that you like them, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks then. Bye.